chicken on a shovel.
What?
And a saw?
If you look in the back, they're cooking bacon on a saw.
Oh, my word.
I mean, I haven't been to Buffalo in a long time, but is it a post-apocalyptic world
Yeah.
there? Why are we
They're getting
cooking
ready,
like
bro.
that?
They're getting ready.
What is going on?
We know if everything goes crazy, I'm going to
It
Buffalo.
was like a surprise. Like, didn't you know you planned on cooking? This is like, oh, we're cooking? What do we have? This is ridiculous.
We have a bunch of tools in the shed
we got a
around
rake
here.
over there. I don't know what.
We got
the rake, but there's a rake too. This is special. I like this.
One way or another, the Bills Mafia is going to be cooking this stuff all the way to the Super Bowl this year for the first time. At least that's the way they looked in Week 1.
That's right.
And with that thought in mind, we're going to debut a new feature. This is called False Starts, and I'll explain what it means. Do not overreact to what you saw in Week 1, because we've seen a lot of Week 1 results that have not proved to have anything to do with reality. The most famous of them all came in 2003. The Patriots in Week 1 lost 31-0 to the Bills. You figure, well, they're awful. Well, the next thing they did was they won 17 of the next 18 games and won the Super Bowl. Let's go to the very famous 2011 Eagles. They were called the Dream Team. Remember what a disaster that turned out to be? They won big Week 1, 31-13. We thought, oh, they really are going to be that good. Then they lost 6 of their next 8 and became a cautionary tale in football history. And then if you want something more recent, let's jump to just last year. The New Orleans Saints scored 47 points in their opener. By the way, they scored 44 in Week 2. And we thought, oh my goodness, what an offense this is. And then they lost 12 of their next 15 games and finished 24th in scoring offense. So those were false starts. So let me ask you, coming off of Week 1, Jeff Saturday, some of the things we saw, were these real or were these things that we will forget about as we move forward? So the Lions looked awful. Their offense looked as though they missed Ben Johnson more than anyone has ever missed anyone. So my question to you is, was that real or was it a false start?
I think it's a false start. Listen, I think Dan Campbell, they average like that. I think Dan Campbell will go back to the drawing board. He'll make sure John Morton understands this is how our offense has to be productive. And so I think they get this thing right. So I think that was a false start. I think Detroit gets better.
They got steamrolled. Let's go to the Vikings next. We were so impressed, and we talked about it all yesterday morning. What J.J. McCarthy did in the fourth quarter, and the fourth quarter alone opened up a lot of eyes. But that's just one quarter so far. So the idea that he's now going to be their guy, is that a false start or is that something you think is real?
I don't think it's a false start. I think this is real. And again, he didn't play well in the first 3 quarters. Obviously had a hot fourth quarter. They end up winning the game. But you saw how everybody trusted in him, including his head coach, KOC. This guy's got the goods. He'll continue to get better throughout the season.
Then the last one, and I will avert my eyes. Aaron Rodgers threw 4 touchdowns and no picks in his revenge game against the Jets.
Revenge!
Just all of a sudden people are saying, oh, that looked like the old MVP Rodgers. Is that real or is that a false start?
That is a false start. Corner's not going to be at 3 yards off in the middle and get run by. Like, we're not going to do some of those things. So the Jets helped a little bit by being overly aggressive, in my opinion. I don't think teams will give that. I think teams could put pressure on him unless their offensive line gets.
They keep hearing that, but no one knows Aaron Rodgers better than the Jets did. He had been there the last 2 years. Why would they have been playing directly into his hands?
Well, Aaron Glenn is an aggressive play caller on defense, and he's going to blitz you no matter what, right? That's his calling card. So he trusted what happened. They'll get better on the back end of that Jets defense as well.
Wait for me over here.
All
I
right,
feel
perfect.
like there is a hesitancy on the part of people to say what I think I saw the other day, which is Aaron Rodgers looked reborn. He looked like exactly what I was afraid he was going to be, which is all of a sudden he's on a competent team with competent coaching, and he looks like he can still play. And what am I missing?
No, I mean, I think that if you are looking for like average quarterback play, I think you got that from Aaron Rodgers. I think the selling
Average? He threw 4 touchdowns and no interceptions. Is that average?
You got to watch the touchdowns. Like, there's nothing in those touchdowns that makes me think, oh, for the Steelers to win. The reason why I and other people had faith in the Steelers is we thought that they would play great defense and ask Aaron Rodgers to make a couple plays here and there. He got hit entirely too much. And you saw he was a little panicky in the pocket once that started happening, which is fair. He was hitting the Jets in the face mask with footballs. Like, this game was not the MVP level Rodgers that I think that we are selling it as because he had 4 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
Look, I think some of the things that we expected to happen in this game didn't. That was that the Steelers would play good, sound, fundamental defense, not be, giving up plus 20-yard explosives at the rate that they were. I think they'll get that corrected. I think we thought Pittsburgh would run the football a little bit better than they did. I think they'll get that corrected too, because that's what Arthur Smith is. The thing we didn't expect, that people are having a hard time grappling with, is the fact that the play action passing game, Arthur Smith's play calling, all were like on it. They were on it the entire game. And people were going, remember, people wanted to run Arthur Smith out of Pittsburgh. They didn't think he was a good offensive coordinator. They didn't want Pittsburgh to sign Aaron Rodgers. But he delivered relative to what they had to offer yesterday. So, look, I think it is sustainable. You can't get him hit the way they got him hit. You better average more than 3 yards a carry. And the deep
21 Rams where it was like, let's get Odell, let's get Von Miller, let's bring in Stafford, and they go away and they're just on the rise. Or it could be the 2004 Lakers with Steve Nash and Dwight Howard, and you're like, we put all the pieces together on paper, we're good, right? And then it's like, this team, Jalen Ramsey played great.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf played great. Jonnu Smith showed up. All of the new acquisitions, in addition to Rodgers, all played great. It's 1 week. It's a 17-week season. None of these guys are exactly young and fresh legs.
Born again is a bit much.
Well, I mean,
I'd just say.
I understand that. What I'm saying is that was a performance that we did not see in either of the last. Well, he didn't really only had one season with the Jets. At no point did it look like that last year. It didn't really look like that his final year. I mean, the numbers are what the numbers are. He completed 73% of his passes for 4 touchdowns and no picks. You've got the Jets this week, right, against the Bills.
do.
Have had a chance to hear from them yet on what they thought of what Rodgers did?
Let me tell you right now, Aaron Glenn does not want to talk about Rodgers anymore. He's over that. No, I think, with Aaron Rodgers, I think he got a tickle out of playing the way he did. I think the question of whether it's sustainable, you said, yes, it's sustainable, as long as he doesn't get hit that much, as long as the defense does all those things, as long as da-da-da-da. And so the question is how they played. It was not sustainable. They have to be better.
I think that's the point I was trying to make also. Is like, I think this team can be good, but they're not going to continue to win if the games look like that particular one.
Yeah.
Perhaps not. All I'll say is, you watch the Steelers play, since Ben Roethlisberger was at his peak, the offense has never looked like that. Not once.
Let's just put it this way. Aaron Rodgers isn't washed up and done.
No.
He has plenty left.
Yes.
That's obvious.
All right, next stop is Baltimore, where the Ravens now need to bounce back from a 15-point blown lead in the fourth quarter against Buffalo. In their final three-quarter, that's the most of anybody. For context, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, and Josh Allen have one loss combined when up double digits in the fourth quarter. I want to talk about the psyche. Lewis, you sat here at this desk last week and you said, if the Ravens lose this game after losing to Buffalo to win their season, you think...
And Josh starts making some plays, you can just sit there and go, you can see the guys' faces on the sideline going, hey man, are we about to blow this thing? And they can't seem to get themselves out of that kind of funk and stop it. And it's not just the offense. Forget Derrick Henry's fumble and, whether Lamar, he said at one point when they didn't go for it on fourth down, he was cramping. And if he hadn't been, they would have went for it on that 4th and 3. The defense, when they need to.
I'm glad you brought up the defense because we spoke on Countdown, and I spent the week talking to players, defensive players, one in particular, Roquan Smith, and he talked about how everybody talks about, to a man, revenge. We're going up there, Roquan Smith, we're going up there to start getting what we rightfully deserve this season, and it begins in Buffalo. This is a team that thought we should have been in the Super Bowl. If we don't beat ourselves, there's nobody who can beat us. And then they go in there, and they even talked about Josh, make him throw. Make him throw. He's liable to make a mistake. And hearing it, I was like, is he though? Is he liable? So
their psyche, and I kind of brushed it off. Like, whatever. They'll be fine. They lost first game last year. They'll bounce back. I didn't anticipate it going down the way that it did. Like anybody, your psyche will be impacted by having a 90% or 99% win percentile and losing in the fashion that they did. And Josh Allen, you're right. Like anytime you can avoid having him with the ball in his hand with a chance to win, you got to do it. You got to figure out a way.
We're like the Giants front office.
Make
no mistake. I don't care about psyche. I don't care about it. They all walk back and go, man, we blew it. We screwed up. Derrick Henry goes, I got a hold on the ball. The backside right tackle who got beat inside go, that ain't going to happen again. Lamar goes, I ain't going to cramp. I'll take salt pills, whatever it is. But man, this ain't good football
but you know what?
team,
At the end of last year, what did they say too? I'll hold on to the ball when I scramble around. I won't drop it. Mark Andrews said, I'm going to catch that thing next time.
Right. I get that.
Final word.
It's the way in which they lose. That's the storyline. It's the same repetitive thing. They'll be fine, but...
They lost this next game last year, too. Remember, they lost a heartbreaker to Kansas City week 1. Then they came home, they had a double-digit lead and lost to the Raiders.
Yes.
Now they get Cleveland this week. Let's see if it looks anything like that. As we continue, Detroit, a dud in week 1, was the reason because of a guy...